Hi, it's Mark back with another Lightroom tutorial, and today we're going to be looking at applying a very popular colour grading of orange and teal. There are three ways at least that we can do this in Lightroom, and I'll step you through each and every one of them, and perhaps also tell you which I think is the best. Spoiler alert, it's probably all three. And if you stick around to the end, I shall demonstrate how to apply these using the preset I've created for you, details of which will be down below in the comments. It's on my website, freely available, and we'll be looking at how you can apply that to kickstart your edit of Orange and Teal. So without further ado, I think we should jump over into Lightroom. So here we are in sunny Lightroom. I say sunny, that's me looking out the window. Ooh, very grey and overcast. So here we are in a very grey and overcast Lightroom. And the guy at the beginning, whoever he was, said we'd look at three ways of doing a teal and orange or orange and teal type calibration to your photos. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And here's a selection of pictures which have got different looks and feels about them. I think right up, I would say that obviously if you've got a black and white picture, or if you've got a picture which doesn't have a great deal of reds or a great deal of blues in it, it doesn't have to have a lot, but they're the underlying colours and tones that are going to be impacted by these type of styled edits. So if there's not a lot in there, you're not going to get as much out of it. But because this is, or can be, a subtle type effect, it is also worth learning about it and doing it. So the first thing we're going to do, and let's pick a one, I'll just pick this one, is we're going to use calibration. Now when you go into your develop module, I'll just close all these up. Most of your time is usually spent in basic, and generally in Lightroom, generally it's a rule, so therefore it should be broken. You work your way down through things. You've got your basic panel, tone curve, hue, saturation and luminance, and right down at the bottom, the one which not a lot of people touch is a thing called calibration. So let's open calibration up. To give this picture an quick orange and teal look, we just go over to the right with the reds, over the left with the blues. So before and after. And even then, it isn't, even though I've gone to extreme, it's a bit more subtle. It stands out more here in the signage, but the reflections down here in the before and after in the pavement look rather good. But that is an extreme. You don't really or shouldn't necessarily need to go that far. You can either tone it down by shifting them back to the middle, or leave it to the extreme, and probably a better way to do it would be to bring down the saturation of the actual effect. And there you go. That would be the first way of doing it, and that's really quite simple. So what is happening is you're taking your red primary channel, so any red, whether it's, and this is important, whether it's a highlight or a shadow, any reds are going to be drifted towards orange, and any blues are going to be drifted towards the teal. Okay, that's what you're doing in those very broad channels. You can impact saturation, but you can't change luminance, okay, and you can't be very granular on colours around that. Okay, it's a bit more of a broad brush effect. So let's press G to get back to my grid, and we'll pick another one, and we'll go on and look at doing a little bit of split toning. So let's pick this one, railway station, or rather like this picture. I'm not doing any other edits on this, by the way. I'm not refining it. I'm purely just concentrating on the tools. At the end of the day, it is always subjective, and therefore you may like it, you may not. But if I can show you what to do, then how you do and how much you do is up to you. And that really wasn't meant to sound anything like a rhyme. But here we go. If I go to D to enter develop module, and that's where we left it. So let's go back into split. Let's go to split toning. Okay, now I mentioned on the calibration method that it would be any red and any blue, regardless of whether that was in a highlight or a shadow, and that's true. But here in split toning, you are targeting the highlights and you're targeting the shadows. So although we're going to do a similar effect, we're choosing to put the orange into the highlights, and we're choosing to put the teals into the shadows. So how do you do that? Well, firstly, you won't see any adjustments happen until you actually move some saturation up, but there's a little tip. If you hold down Options or Alt on a PC, Option on a Mac, and move the slider along, it shows you a fully saturated look of the colour you happen to be over. So if I continue slowly taking that along through the greens, through the blues, got some purples there, and off the other end. So I'm going to take it around to about an orange. Now remember, this is fully saturated. I'm going to go about there, and I'll release. Now I can decide on the amount of that I want in by using saturation. And I think I'm just going to go around about there. Again, subjective. If you want more, have more. If you want less, have less. Similarly for the shadows, so we're going to put some teal in here. So I hold down my Option key on my Mac, Alt key on your PC, and I should move along. And should we find a nice teal type colour? Somewhere probably, just check. Somewhere around there. And I release the mouse. And again, I'll use the saturation to decide how much I actually want in there. More prominent on the girl's skirt, I think. Okay, I think about there. Incidentally, this slider in the middle is a balance. At the moment, it's saying if I'm doing 50% of this in highlights and 50% shadows. If I move it to one side, I'm effectively saying, look, I'm not doing any highlights anymore. If I move the other side, it says, look, I'm not doing any shadows anymore. It's kind of the balance between the two. That's how I like to think of it. What it is in reality is, if no one had showed me Lightroom, it would be a slider for me to play with. And why not? With something like Lightroom, which is non-destructive, play, experiment. I mean, on some pictures, that might be a good look. In fact, you might like that. I don't particularly, but again, it's subjective. So have a play. Have a play with the sliders. Every time a new version of Lightroom comes out, or they change the engine behind it or whatever, I just load up a random picture and I go through them and I'll just play and see what they actually do. Anyway, that is number 2. So that was using split toning. So let's go to the before and the after. There you go. Let's go G. Take us back to our grid, and let's pick a third one, and we will do hue, saturation, and luminance. So let's go. I know. Let's let's do this one. So here's a picture of a skateboard which only has 2 wheels. In my youth, my skateboard had 4. Probably I wasn't very good at balancing, but anyway, here we go. Let's develop this. D for develop. There we go. And we were last in split toning. We don't want that. We want hue, saturation, and luminance. So at the top of it, when we looked at calibration, we said that essentially we're shifting anything that's in the reds over towards the orange and anything that's in the blues over towards the teal, and that is kind of the effect. So if we come to our hue and we look at the hue of anything that's red, and we move that over towards the orange, you'll actually see, particularly on the wheel of the skateboard, we're introducing a orange. And if we do the same with the blue and shift that over, we'll bring in a look at the sky, we're bringing in more teal. Okay, but the difference here is that we can also adjust some of the saturation to take a little bit of it out, possibly on the reds. We've also got orange itself, which we can bring in. Okay, and close to complementary, we've got aquas, a little bit purple as well, which are all just subtle variants of it, just taking that channel and making it a little bit wider, flooding into colours on either side. And then the overall brilliance of it, for example, looking at that orange again on the wheel, you can actually brighten that by adding some luminance into that channel, or indeed darken it and take it out. So let's look at the before and the after. Not a great deal of difference. I think it does look fundamentally a different picture though. We've certainly on the wheel, and the sky is brighter. But again, it's subjective. It's not about this picture. It's about showing you that using the hue is to target the orange and teal look, using the saturation to take some of it out and in, similar to what we did in calibration, and also using luminance to actually add a bit more brilliance or a darkness into it. So that is hue, saturation and luminance. So where to now? Let's G to get back, and we'll pick one up. Let's pick up this one, and we're going to do a combination of the three, because I don't think any one particular tool is what we need here. It might be, but it's good to know you can actually mix and match. So I'm going to start with the global, for want of a better description, type edit. One brush paints all, and we'll do our basic effect like that. I'll take the saturation down on that. Again, it's subjective. You don't necessarily have to like what I'm doing. I'm just showing you can combine them. And saturation up there. Okay, before and after. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. And split toning. Now this time, what I want to do, let's go to my shadows. Hold down the Option key. Slide that along so it's full saturation till I find a teal type colour, which I'm going to go a little bit dark. I'm going to go there and then release everything. I'm not going to bother putting it in the highlights this time because I think there's a lot of orange going on. I just want to bring that into the dark using the saturation. So again, you don't need to use the whole tool. Okay, so that's a little bit of split toning. And third thing, hue, saturation and luminance. So remember, what we want to do is change the hue of the red channel. So I'm going to move that over just a little bit more. I'm particularly watching down here, by the way, in the oranges and such that are quite striking down there, and that is having the effect of just lightening that a little bit. Okay, let's grab those blues. Yeah, my eyes drawn over here by the umbrella. It kind of lightens it just a little bit. I think I'm quite happy with that. I don't think I'll bother with the saturation on either. Let's have a go. No, I think I'm quite happy. No, I will pick the saturation up on the blue channel. Yeah, just a little bit. And yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. There we go, before and after. So there is a combination of the three. Use 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, whatever, and to a lesser or greater degree. Again, remember, this is subjective. This is just what I'm doing. It's more important that you're learning about the actual tools itself. Right, that's more or less the end of the video. So I did say at the very beginning that if you stuck around to the end, I had something I could share, and I'll put it on my website so you can download it. If I go back to our grid and pull up another one of these. If you spotted an edit there, that's because there was an edit there because my phone rang. Note to self, either answer it in front of everyone and have your conversations public, or switch it off. Anyway, here we are. Here's another picture. And if we're going to develop module, there we go, and some presets. I've got a preset which, as I say, I'll put it on my website for you to download. I'll just import it first. So I'll just show you how to import a preset. I've got downloads. Is that where I left it? There you are. Orange and Teal zip. Let's just bring up my file explorer. Let's go to downloads. Unzip it. There you go. Now here, if I import this Orange and Teal preset, import, it will feature over here under user presets. And if you just hover over that, you'll see it immediately applies Orange and Teal type effect. Now let's just have a quick look down HSL. Let's have a quick look at the split toning. Sorry, split toning, not tone curve. And they're all off. And let's have a quick look at calibration, and they're all off. Now I'm going to click on it to apply it. Now you see it has actually done the red channel over, brought the blue channel over. If we go into split toning, it's already applied those, and if you go to hue, saturation and luminance, it's already done some work for you. And the beauty of the preset is that all the preset does is apply those changes. You can now come along and you can alter them all to your heart's content. Okay, and go back into in any one of them. Let's just make it a bit more drastic. Go to calibration, and let's take that down again, and take that. Okay, so you can go in and change them all. In giving you the preset, it just means you can very quickly apply the 3 groups to what I consider was okay as a general starting point. A little bit exaggerated, and that's deliberate, so you can better see where it is, and there you can then go and roll it back. If it was subtle to start with, depending on the picture, you might not really notice it. So that's what it's for. Download it, let me know how you get on, and click on the subscribe button, which is down there somewhere, and give it a thumbs up. Until next time, I'll say goodbye.